You've arrived at color and music. Is there a relationship between music and colors? Artist Vasily Kandinsky, generally considered the father of modern abstract art, thought there was. He developed an entire system of correlations between music, colors, and ideas. Even the title of this painting, Composition 7, is like the name of a piece of music. Click on the colors in the painting to make the music Kandinsky might have heard. Kandinsky had specific ideas about how colors sound. We've used some of his own words to help explain them. Yellow. The shrill canary and the sour lemon, both yellow. An insistent, aggressive quality. Intensification of the color increases its painful shrillness. Blue. Profound meaning here, said Kandinsky. The heavenly color. A light blue is like a flute, a darker blue a cello, a still darker blue a thunderous double bass, and the darkest blue of all, an organ. When it sinks almost to black, it echoes a grief that is hardly human. Green. The most restful color that exists, but self-satisfied, immovable, narrow. In music, an absolute green is represented by the placid middle notes of the violin. Red. A cold light red, the singing notes of a violin. A light warm red, the sound of trumpets, strong, harsh, and ringing. Violet. A cooled red, rather sad and ailing. An English horn or a bassoon. Orange. A man convinced of his own powers. An angelus or an old violin. Brown. Unemotional, disinclined for movement. Barely audible. Add red to increase its voice. The vermilion now rings like a great trumpet or thunders like a drum. White. The symbol of a world too far above us for its harmony to touch our souls. White has the appeal of the nothingness that is before birth, of the world in the Ice Age. Symbolizes joy and purity. The colors of the rainbow spring out without any sound. Black. A totally dead silence, a silence with no possibilities. Black is something burnt out, like the ashes of a funeral pyre. The silence of death. You're at Symbols and Emotions. Do colors have consistent symbolic meanings? Can they be relied on to cause specific emotions in a viewer? Click around the map to see how, from early times to the present, colors have been used to express meaning. If you think you already know what a particular color signifies, you may be in for some surprises. The ancient Aztecs used the color red to refer to the earth, and therefore, in their mythology, to renewal, as we might use green. Ancient Aztecs again. In most cultures, black, night, darkness have sinister connotations. For the Aztecs, black was the color they associated with their gods. Of course, we don't know how they felt about their gods. Blue is for boys, pink is for girls. Who knows why? School buses and 3/4 of all the pencils manufactured are yellow. It's almost a fact of life, like the grass being green. In the 1920s, Knute Rockne, great coach of the Notre Dame University football team, painted the home team dressing rooms red, aiming to keep up his team's excitement. He had the visitors' dressing room painted a cool blue, hoping to pacify them. He won a lot of games. Many Americans seem to believe that a certain kind of paper, colored green, brings good luck. People condemned to be burned to death by the Spanish Inquisition were robed in yellow, the color of heresy and treason. In the 10th century, the doors and houses of criminals and traitors were painted yellow. Not long after the German scientist Goethe theorized that orange-red suggests warmth and gladness, William Turner painted the slave ship. No warmth and gladness here. Turner uses orange-red to indicate apocalyptic turmoil and inhumanity. The painting was inspired by an actual event. When an epidemic broke out on a slave ship, the captain threw the slaves overboard because his insurance covered his loss if the slaves died by drowning, but not if they died by disease. In ancient Gaul, slaves wore blue. They probably felt blue a lot of the time as well. In the Christian world of the early Renaissance, which was still very influenced by the Byzantine style, colors had specific meanings. Purple was the sacred color. Red meant suffering. Green symbolized renewal. White expressed purity. Gold symbolized celebration and grace. This painting is Simone Martini's The Road to Calvary, painted about 1340. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, the great German scientist and author, in 1810 published his color theory. It included ideas about the emotional effects of color. Yellow, he suggested, has a gay, softly exciting character. Orange-red suggests warmth and gladness. There was a painter about the same time who also had ideas about red and yellow. Click in England to find him. In many cultures, purple has been the sign of power. The sails on Cleopatra's barge were purple, for example. Maybe this is because the color purple almost never appears in nature, and therefore symbolizes human creativity and dominance. In Jewish mysticism, or Kabbalah, red is the color associated with God. In many Arab countries, you'll find a blue hand painted on walls or doorways, or even whole walls and doors painted blue, because of the protective quality that blue is believed to possess. The flag of communism is a bright, deep red, not the sort of red flag that means danger or stop, but an insistent call to arms. Is that why red cars tend to get more traffic tickets? In ancient China, the color yellow, perhaps because it implies the sun, was reserved for the emperor, who was called the Son of Heaven. No one else was permitted to wear a yellow garment. White, which generally signifies purity in the West, is the color of mourning in China. You're about to play with color. Artist Vincent